Just in, the New York Jets and Michael Carter II haven't started contract extension talks, according to Rich Media of ESPN this morning. We react to that and why the Jets need to get on it. Let's discuss.
Zoinks! It is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans.
Field Yates, baby. Field Gashdarn Yates. Let's bring him on the show.
Come on, people. Connor Rogers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor Gashdarn Sycamore, baby, for me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever been.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas.
Hey, what's poppin', everybody? Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your gosh darn podcast. Make sure you guys check out the full column in the YouTube description down below on this story that just came out about an hour and a half ago. And love getting these breaking news, for lack of a better term, reactions to things that are going on. And I wish it was more positive, to be honest with you. But according to Rich Samini of ESPN, the New York Jets and slot cornerback Michael Carter II haven't even started contract extension talks this offseason. MC2, of course, is a free agent to be next year. We talked about it a bunch of weeks ago. There is a laundry list of free agents that are set to hit the market for the Jets next year. Off the top of the dome, got guys like Tyron Smith, Morgan Moses, Hassan Reddick, Michael Carter II, DJ Reed, Brandon Eccles, Tyler Conklin, and you just keep going down and down the list. There's a bunch of guys, big, notable, big-name players that are going to be commanding contracts. If you just stay in the cornerback room alone, 3 of the top 4 corners are set to hit the open market next year. DJ Reed, Michael Carter II, Brandon Eccles, who doesn't get enough love, but he's another depth piece in that secondary. Plus, on top of that, Sauce Gardner is eligible for an extension for the very first time in his career next offseason. So there's a long story short, there's a lot of things coming to a point as it pertains to that for the New York Jets. And MC2, it's interesting because the Jets they're going to have to make a decision. You probably can't pay Sauce, DJ Reed, and MC2. Rich Samini said it would be nearly impossible in his phraseology this morning, in his Sunday morning notes column, that it would be, quote-unquote, nearly impossible to keep him. Well, you're keeping Sauce. Doy. Okay, so you put him in a bucket. Now the conversation becomes DJ Reed or Michael Carter II? The slot corner or the boundary corner? MC2's younger? DJ Reed a little older? And plus, I mean, here's the good news part of it, I would say, for me, is if you're an MC2 fan, slot cornerback money ain't boundary cornerback money. The highest paid corner all corners, because boundary corners get more money, is Jair Alexander, is hovering around $21 million and change per year. The highest paid slot corner is like $11 million. Taron Johnson, the Buffalo Bills kid, he's hovering around 11. So 11, if you give Michael Carter II, which, by the way, I mean, the analytics speak for themselves if people aren't aware of how good Michael Carter II is. Hell, the Jets even tweeted out this fun fact. Let me give you those deets. Michael Carter II is the number 1 slot cornerback in several key categories. Yards allowed, 195. Receptions allowed, 25. Yards per snap, 0.54. And PFF coverage grade, 83.3. So he's number 1 in all of those categories. So if I was him and his agent, I'd kind of show that to the Jets and say, pay me. Pay the man. And that could be a brand new contract that made him the highest paid slot corner in all football, or at the very least in that conversation. And that money is going to be cheaper than DJ Reed. Think about this, right? DJ Reed, when he signed with the Jets, got a 3-year deal for $33 million. Quite frankly, the exact same deal that Taron Johnson just got to become, quote unquote, the highest paid nickel back in the league. And now DJ Reed's going to want a pay raise over that. You can basically give the DJ Reed contract that you gave him a couple of years ago to MC2, and MC2's like, Excellent. Great. Thanks for this record-breaking extension. And then for DJ Reed, he wants something more than that. So it's kind of a conversation for me where I lean. I'm going to be honest. Is pay MC2. He's 25 years of age. He just turned 25 in March. Slot corners are incredibly difficult to find. Boundary corners, I'm not trying to dismiss or diss boundary corners, but you got the sideline to help you as like almost an extra defender. When you're in the slot, a receiver could go left, right, up, down, diagonal. I mean, they could do anything. It's just so hard and difficult to try to get them because they're like in open space. They could go to any move in the tool set. And I think that slot corner play is very difficult. Plus, like I said, MC2 is younger. The deal he would receive is cheaper, which would give you more shekels to push in other parts. I love DJ Reed. I love the person. I love his feistiness. I love he's a vertically challenged guy like myself. So I like those guys on the team. I like those guys fighting the good fight. So that part of the equation I love. And he's a feisty guy. I remember his first press conference with the media was a Zoom call because it was back in the COVID era. But I remember him saying, "I'm one of the best corners of football." I'm like, okay, this guy's got some chutzpah. And he pointed to some legitimate statistics, obviously, that push in that category. But that's the decision here, is that in case you're just joining us, because to say we have about 300 people in the room right now, and appreciate you guys joining us here. We're live every single day at 7:30 in the morning. This just came out, like I said, about an hour and a half ago. Rich Samini's Sunday morning column that normally drops at 6 a.m. Every Sunday. Sometimes during the off season, he doesn't write a column, but he certainly wrote one this morning, and we pivoted. This is not the story I was going to cover because I didn't even know this story existed until this morning. So good to jump right on it. And what an underrated piece this young man is. And by the way, after Taron Johnson got paid from the Buffalo Bills, MC2 immediately responded on social media, quote, "Nichols getting love this offseason." So he seemed to notice and say, Jets, cough, cough, time to pay up. And I want to go back to this quote before I kind of dive into all your comments. I'll probably open up the phone lines early and things of that nature as well. But I don't know if you guys remember this, but when Robert Saleh was hired back in 2021, he had this kind of spiel to say, my job is to make Joe Douglas, the general manager's job, as hard as possible. And what Robert Saleh was trying to say is, he's going to give me he's going to give me the talent. I'm going to cultivate the talent. I'm going to develop the talent. And then when they come time to get paid, this talent that I've cultivated, I'm Robert Saleh for a second, okay? I want Joe Douglas to go, oh boy, am I going to pay this guy? Am I going to pay this guy? Like he's going to make his life a living hell in a first world problem kind of way by you have to pick and choose who you have to pay, which again is a first world. That's a great problem to have. I will be honest with you, and Jet fans know this. There's been a lot of players in Jet recent history that have gotten no second contracts because they've sucked. The Jets have done a terrible job of drafting, a terrible job of developing, so they haven't had any choices. So they've had plenty of money just rotting in the bank. There's been no one to pay. There's been no one worthy of these extensions up until recently where like Quinnen is getting his second deal. And now you have all these guys that are on the list of guys that you have to at least think about. DJ Reed, Michael Carter II, Hassan Reddick, who's a new guy here. Like, you got to think about that too. Is he getting the money? Which of the veteran tackles, like, okay, maybe you're going to let Tyron go because you want Olu Fashanu to be your long-term left tackle, but is Morgan coming back? Or are you just finding a brand new right tackle next year? What's happening there? And then what about Tyler Conklin? Is Jeremy Ruckert the future? Is it Zach Kuntz? What's happening there at tight end? So Mike Williams, that's another one I didn't even mention earlier. He's a free agent to be. Is he a one-year, one-stop shop? So you start going through the list. There are some guys that you got to pay. Straight up. Anywho, so Robert Saleh had this whole spiel a couple years ago about when he was hired saying, I'm going to make Joe Douglas' life a living hell. Well, rent's due, mother. You know what I mean? The rent is due. And it's time to make some of those big boy business decisions. And to be honest, I'd like the Jets to do a little bit of that homework right now. Because while this year's all in, and if they really want to do the Cowboys all in, we ain't paying nobody till next year. Like, okay. But all of a sudden, you only got one franchise tag, sucker. One. That means there's one player you could prevent from hitting the open market. But what about everybody else? So if you sign a couple of those guys right now, like MC2, for example, of this conversation. That's one less guy you have to tag next year. And then you can be a bit more strategic with how you use the franchise tag. If you let everyone ride out the year, and let's say MC2 is another good year, Conklin is a good year, Reddick, Morgan Bosa, all these guys, they're like, oh boy, what the hell are we going to do now? And again, hopefully you win the Super Bowl, and that's an even sweeter conversation to have because you're like, oh, great, we won the ultimate prize. Now let's try to pick who wants to come back here. Maybe you win the chip, and people want to come back, like Zach Rosenblatt said on the Can't Wait pod like a week ago. All of a sudden, people want to come down for hometown discounts and stuff. We're talking about all kinds of lovely stuff. But if you don't win the chip, you just go deep and you miss out, then everyone's like, money, pass it over. Give me that money. Give me that dough. Give me that money. I want to pay it. Psh, psh. Lay the money on the table. That's where we go. So it's an interesting conversation. I'm curious what you guys think. Keep the comments coming. I'll react to a couple of those. Feel free to use the YouTube Super Chat feature that's available to all of you guys. You can guarantee your comment gets answered here on the program. Plus, of course, you can join the Boy Green Superfan Club that is available on your screen if you're watching, whether it's on your phone or desktop. There should be a little join button to join the membership for a small fee every month to hop on in here. All right, let me go through some of your comments here. No sweet, passionate lovemaking, I'm afraid, but thank you for the speculation. Appreciate that. That was not happening this morning. Sergeant CVO said, Reed is a need. Could get that on a T-shirt. I like DJ Reed. Like I said, I love the person. I love the player. But he's the one, if, gun to my head right now to try to figure it out, he's probably the guy that escapes. Like I said, as I smack the microphone, he's probably the guy that escapes. MC2 is the one I probably pay if I only, because Sasha, of course, pay. That's not even a conversation. Obviously, he's staying here until he retires. But now it's DJ Reed or Michael Carter II. And you can make pros and cons for both. But I'm probably leaning MC2. But Reed's a really good guy. John Sauer, yep, it's Jair Alexander gets over $21 million. And there's a couple other guys that are on the precipice. So Sauce, he's the number one corner of football. He's going to top whatever the number one number is by that point. There's a couple guys to keep an eye out for. PS2, Patrick Surtain II of the Broncos trading him. Are they extending him? He's probably going to be in that conversation. So that's one to keep an eye out for. Darren says, what about a 3-year deal for $36 million for MC2 and backload it all in now? He's essential to our defense. And that's a key point. So we've talked about this offseason, how the Jets can create money, right? Like guys have high cap numbers now that you can lower and kick it, into the future. And like DJ Reed was a great example. Someone who had like a $15 million cap hit and change this year, which was like a very abnormal number from the standpoint of like, he's a really good player. He's still young. He's like 27. Like, why not sign him now and drop that number to help you now? The Jets obviously have not done that to this point. MC2, on the other hand, is a very unique case. Because he was a 5th-round draft choice, he's making like nothing this year. So any extension you give him is likely going to increase that number, which technically increases his number. He's happy, but decreases your overall number in terms of making other things happen. So I would imagine that perhaps has played in as a complicating factor here, is that for some of those kind of guys, you're going to have to pay up for the now. So he's going to get some sort of pay raise by virtue this season. But hopefully, to Darren's point, you can backload it and worry about that really more so in the future. Mother effing Chew. Love the hat, Paul. Yeah, this is one of my faves. I love this. Also got a tank top weather. I never get to wear a tank top on the show. Flash some of my ink, some of my tattoos. So I appreciate that. Get a little bit of that Esden zone in there right there, baby. The family crest. Oh, yeah, baby. Getting all the tattoo action. Mother effing Chew said he loves DJ Reed's attitude. Seems to thrive on being underrated. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I really like DJ Reed. He's a great representative of Jet fans. Card Cave Central says, not many teams have 2 number ones in a great slot. Yeah, that's the first world problem the Jets have, and that's just in the secondary. Think about all these other guys they have, but specifically, MC2 doesn't get his love because Sauce Gardner is the first cornerback in the modern era to be a first-team All-Pro in his first 2 years. So, yeah, he's historic. And then DJ Reed is like, he's underrated, but he's like popularly underrated, if that makes any sense. Like, for instance, Bill Barnwell's show, that's an ESPN podcast show, they just ranked the most underrated players in all football. DJ Reed was the number one most underrated player. So you know what I mean? So he's underrated, but like he's a popular guy among some of the insiders as someone like, yeah, he's underrated, but he's our favorite underrated. Like MC2 is literally getting no love from anybody at any time outside of our fan base. And, like I said, he is long overdue for some love. Darren says, can't franchise MC2. That number would be outrageous. Yeah, I don't think, let me double check. I'm pretty sure they don't designate the difference between slot corner and boundary corner numbers. Let me double check that. That's something I guess I haven't checked in a while. So let me look at the franchise tag numbers that were for this season and double check that. Yeah, they do not separate. It does not. So, okay, I've got all the franchise tag numbers here. Ooh, and I got projected franchise tag numbers. So here you go. For those wondering what it would cost for MC2. So, yeah, first off, they don't designate any difference between slot corner and boundary corner, which to, who was this? Darren's point, right? That hurts the Jets. Sometimes it helps you, right? If you get a certain position that you can kind of twist into one or the other, you get the benefit of the doubt because the market is different at that position. It's worse at slot because slot corners are cheaper. So the fact that they get the benefit of the boundary corner price, it helps them in these negotiations. But here is the franchise tag projected number. Shout out to our friends over at Over the Cap. That is $19.4 million, which of course would be a ridiculous price for a 1-year deal because the highest paid slot corner right now makes $11 million. So you're going to pay $8 million over the highest paid price? Of course you're not. So they can't franchise tag him, which gives MC2 even more negotiating power. If you wait till next year, he's like, you ain't going to franchise tag me. I'm hitting the open market. And you and 31 other teams are bidding for my services. That's why it may be appropriate to pay him now. That's just me. I don't know why all of a sudden I'm whispering, but I just feel like I should kind of put that out into the ethos. MC2, pretty gosh darn good. Perhaps think about paying him this offseason. Just a thought. So there you go. Yeah, it's 100% right. Darren, good call out to double check that number. But yes, they do not designate the difference. Ricky New York is an MC2 is first up kind of guy. Yep. Card Cave Central says the uncomfortable truth. Love everything about Reed, but the age is nearing the decline for most cornerbacks. Now, I still think he's got a couple of good years left, but for the Jets, if you're playing the game, you get a little funky. Get a little funky, man, on the game. And the game is this because Bill Belichick was always a year too early rather than a year too late. What did that mean? That means he got rid of some of his primo players a year ago. Like he traded them away. You're like, whoa, man, he traded this big name guy. And maybe they have some success elsewhere. And sometimes that has happened with New England Patriot players. But, he'd rather be early than late. And that's what the Jets have to try to prognosticate because when you get good. So the Jets haven't had this problem for a long time because they've sacked. And their players have sacked. So they haven't had this first world problem. But that is what it is there. And I'll repeat it because Jared B says he's late. Again, Michael Carter II and the Jets have not started contract extension talks. There's a full column in the YouTube description down below. If you guys would like to see it, feel free to do so. You should be able to see it. It is in the YouTube description. I will double check that it is because some people are saying they don't see it. So let me make sure that I have this on here for you guys. Let me scroll down and make sure. Yep, it is in there. So if you guys go down to the YouTube description, it says you can read more here, and then boop, there's the article link, and I clicked it. It immediately goes to the article. So boys, feel free to check that out. It is there in the comment section. All right. Yeah, sorry to the Rangers. Yay. Sorry guys. I apologize. I don't know why I'm apologizing. I have nothing to do with it, but I see a lot of you guys are sad about it in there, so I appreciate it. All right, I will open up the phone lines here. Let me throw the link over for you guys to jump on the show, and you guys can share your take. Are you a DJ Reed guy? Are you an MC2 guy? Where do you stand in all of this? You guys can let me know. All right, video link to call in. We'll throw this up on the line. So you guys can get on early here on the program. That is now in the YouTube description, or excuse me, the YouTube comment section, excuse me. That is also now the pinned message. If you're watching on any of our other features, which could be Heavy on Jets, shout out to Heavy for supporting the show for as long as they have, and Twitter at BoyGreen25. You have to hop on over to youtube.com/BoyGreen25, baby. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. 430 people in the room right now, baby. We appreciate you. And normally this guy is a closer in the lineup, but I like that he's starting off at the front of the batting order here. Let's go to our main man, Ricky New York, gracing us with his presence. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's happening, Paul? Well, like I said earlier in the chat, MC2 would be my very first, priority as far as getting done. I mean, listen, I would like to keep DJ Reed, but let's face it, when his contract's up, he's going to want paid. Not a little bit either, a lot. And somebody's probably going to pay him a lot.
Probably.
But it's not going to be us. So, MC2, definitely I would pay him first. The second thing that I would do is I would re-sign Breece Hall. Running backs are the cheapest of the core four to pay. I would pay him now while we got money with a front-loaded deal and get as much of it out of the way as I could. And then I'd call up Sauce and say, time to sit down and start negotiating. And that is the order that I would attack things of. And then, naturally the following year, the other guys are going to want paid too. And I would be talking to Garrett. But
for people who don't know. Yeah, go ahead, Ricky. Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying that's the order I would do it in.
Yeah, I would just say that the other one for people that don't understand how contract works is that, Breece Hall being a non-first round pick, I know he complained about it at the time, but it works out for him because he reaches the open market faster. Anyone who's a non-first round pick gets a 4-year standard contract. Anyone who's a first round pick has a 4 years plus the 5th-year option. There is no 5th-year option for Breece Hall, so it's crazy to think about this because Aaron Rodgers said it on the Adam Shine podcast that all these young guppies are becoming adults. And one very clear and obvious way that's true is like Breece Hall, who after this season, he has 1 year left on his deal. That's 2025, and then it's over. He is a free agent to be in 2026. So I think you're right, man. I've heard a lot of people just throw a lot of things saying, okay, let's ride Breece on this rookie deal and then let him go. I totally disagree, man. I want to lock him in and have him be a key piece of this team. And we haven't even seen full Breece Hall yet because of the terrible quarterback situation or offensive line player. Obviously, some of the injuries Breece has suffered early.
I mean, people are going to say, you can get a running back whenever. Yeah. If you want, a Devin Singletary or whoever
an average guy.
Whoever the hell they have in Washington right now. I don't know. But you're not going to get a Breece Hall just anywhere. No way. So, that would be how I would handle things.
Okay, so DJ Reed is one you're willing to let go. There's, like I said, a bunch of the free agents that are going to be next year. Guys like Tyron Smith, Morgan Moses, Hassan Reddick, Tyler Conklin. Of that group, who are you keeping? Who are you letting go?
Oh man,
it's tough.
It is tough. The Moses, if he wants to come back on like a team friendly deal, I would do it.
Okay.
Reddick's going to be hard to pay. Hopefully McDonald develops enough to where we don't have to worry about that.
Correct.
And again, out of that group, Conklin would probably be one of the more affordable ones. And Conklin's my guy, man. Like,
baby. Yeah.
If we could figure out a way to keep him, that's who I'd be keeping out of that group.
All right. I love it. Ricky, thanks for the call, brother.
All right, man. Have a good day, Paul.
All right, you too. And first in the lineup, that is a nice, refreshing thing here on a Sunday morning. Ricky, New York, baby. Again, we're here on Boy Green Daily. We have 500 people in the room right now. We appreciate you guys. Make sure, again, you guys continue to show your support for the show. The question is this: who to pay? Rich Cimini said, again, it would be, quote, near impossible to keep everybody. And he was specifically referencing the cornerbacks, but we can actually make that an even grander conversation, talking about all the other free agents to be. Like I said, I mean, I'll pull it up so I make sure I'm not missing anybody. Jets free agents for 2025. So, or maybe it'll be, yeah, it has to be 2025 here. Make sure I adjust that in the search. I mean, this list is extremely long for the New York Jets. There's a lot of guys on it, and there's a lot of important pieces to the puzzle here for the New York Jets, which makes this difficult. But again, this is the problem of being a good team. This is also why the pressure is so important to have those young players that we talk about, Sauce, Jermaine, Brees, Garrett, that you win with them on the rookie deal before you start having to pay the piper. And the piper is coming due. That is for certain. We'll get more into the 2025 free agents in a second, but we'll jump over back to the phone lines. We've got NY Jets FL here on the program. What's up, brother? Nice jet ski. Very nice.
Thank you, man. Good morning,
Yeah.
Paul.
Yeah.
Late night last night, friends over, so I'm a little
Nice.
Yeah, not much going on, just hanging out.
Okay.
I think I think we're going to keep a lot of the core players, and I think the fact that Rodgers has such a short timeline, it may be similar to what, like Brady did, or actually Mahomes, it's kind of interchangeable pieces at some level, like you keep your core players and you kind of mix and match. So I think it really depends on where we are at the end of the year. If we have a bad season, a lot of guys are going to go, and
Yeah.
which I don't foresee that unless something catastrophic happens. But
Yeah, right.
You got to sign Garrett. Obviously,
Mhm.
we saw DJ
Yeah.
Reed is 100.
Oh, he's gone.
DJ Reed, yeah, you can't sign both Sauce and DJ Reed. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, it seems difficult to envision. Like I said, I like DJ Reed, the player. He's been, and it's a crazy stat to say, but when you really comb through it, DJ Reed's been one of the best free agents the Jets have ever signed in their history. And now the bad part about that is they haven't had a lot of great ones, so that kind of shortens the list. But in particular, DJ Reed has been spectacular as a free agent signing of getting the bang for their buck. Where he immediately is like, "Wow, we underpaid this guy for what the production we're getting at the cornerback position." Plus, the cornerback pay has changed certainly in the years that we've had him so far. But yeah, DJ Reed, I love the guy, but I just feel like this is the uncomfortable truth of just like, ooh, we have Sauce, we have MC2. I think DJ Reed's the one to go. Maybe they bring back Eccles or something, or Stiggers. Maybe he's the new CB2 on the boundary. That could make sense.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, you try to develop a cornerback if at all possible, and the Jets seem to be very good at that. Developing young players. Another player we're gonna have to replace soon is CJ Mosley. I don't know how many years he's got left, to be
that's a good point.
Level middle linebacker, and then you still have to pay him, even though he did take a pay cut, right? So he did.
He did, yeah. So he's signed for this year and next year. So based on how the structure of the contract is, he's probably here in 2025. So he did take a pay cut. So respect to the legend. He was set to make a bunch of money this year, and now he's making less. Let me make sure I word this right. So he was set to make a bunch of money this year. He's going to make less than what he was supposed to make this year to play for the Jets for 2 years. So he just did, again, he did a great sacrifice for the team to be here, and that's been really cool, and he's been a player. But you're right, Quincy's the present and future, and CJ Mosley is still really good right now, but they do need a guy in the line, and unless one of these developmental guys we never see, like Zaire Barnes or Jamie and Sherwood or the new Choo Choo kid from Army. Like, unless it's one of those kids that develops quick, I don't know if that guy's on the roster right now, the next running mate to Quincy.
Mm-hmm. It's funny, Ricky NY made a good point about signing Brees Hall. With all the running backs that they're undervalued, I guess, or at this point, I don't say undervalued, but they don't get paid big contracts. He's the kind of guy, maybe you want to see what he is when he's at his full potential. Because
sure.
The kind of guy is young, he's talented. His sky is the limit because of the way his injury, our offensive line was last year, and we had the worst quarterback. So
right.
You may want to keep that guy around to see what you have for a while and not, think he's another disposable running back. He's got a lot of untapped potential, I think, that we really haven't seen. And Garrett Wilson also. We haven't seen his ceiling either. I mean, can you imagine Garrett with real ones instead of, Straveler? And I mean, the name so embarrassing. I won't even mention them today.
Yeah, actually, let me see if I still have that up. I did a post of the 7 different quarterbacks that Garrett Wilson has played with. Let me see if I can find that real quick. But yeah, he has played with the most random ass quarterbacks in history, and despite that, which obviously it's true, he's played with these random. Oh, here they are. Oh my god, I found that quick. All right, here are the 7 quarterbacks. So Garrett Wilson has played with 7 different quarterbacks in his first 2 seasons. Here are the 7: Zach Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Tim Boyle, Chris Streveler, Mike White, Joe Flacco, Trevor Siemian. And I said it on the tweet, good Lord, and I repeat that phrase, good Lord have mercy. And still, he's the first Jets receiver in history to start his first 2 years with 1,000-yard seasons. That's never happened before. And he's done that despite the guys he's playing with. That's the exciting thing for me about this year. It's like, holy friggin' crap. If he did that with trash, quite frankly, like, man, what is he going to do with filet mignon with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback? That's just tantalizing.
Yeah, and half of those quarterbacks probably will not be on even a roster, this year.
That's
like
true. Yeah,
EFL type quarterbacks. It's just
exactly.
It's crazy to think about, Paul. But I appreciate your show. By the way, the Ricky NY story yesterday was excellent on your show about his meeting up at the Hall of Fame with Curtis Martin, and he, great of a guy Curtis is. So anyway, Paul, appreciate your show as always, and see you tomorrow morning. Hey,
all right,
Paul.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Try to go to Bobby Woodruff's show.
Oh yeah, I've not gone to his channel yet. So I'm gonna write that one down. So let me go, Bobby Woodruff.
A bunch of guys sitting around talking, and Bobby just, he's the headmaster, as they say, if anyone knows what a headmaster. He just sits there and tells, be quiet or whatever, and people just chat. You may want to just pop in. You probably have a couple of good laughs at, some of the topics we cover.
Oh,
thanks,
that's
Paul.
awesome. I can't wait. Yeah, thanks, pal. Thanks for chiming in. Yeah, I will. Yeah, so go check out Bobby Woodruff's show. No question. I have not seen it yet because every time I go in, like he's not live, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I just got to check at the right time. But yes, if you guys did not see Ricky New York's story, 100%. Again, we're live every day at 7:30 in the morning. So if you're new to the show, welcome. If you're a longtime listener, you already know how this works. But at the end of the show yesterday, Ricky New York talked about meeting Curtis Martin and getting an autograph and getting to be able to talk to him, and Curtis Martin showing a care, showing that some powerful stuff. And as Ricky's leaving, he yells to him. It's just, man, that plucked my heartstrings, man. Quite frankly, it certainly plucked my heartstrings. That was so cool to see. So yeah, guys, go check that out if you missed that yesterday. Some great stuff there. From Ricky New York. While we're waiting, again, phone lines are open. That is the pinned comment on YouTube. Feel free to click that and call into the show. Just a quick nugget here on the Jets free agents to be. This is the list of guys who are set to be free agents next year on the Jets roster. And this is by how much they are set to make this year. Hassan Reddick, DJ Reed, Mike Williams, Tyler Conklin, Tyron Smith, Morgan Moses, Javon Kinlaw, that's another one I forgot, Solomon Thomas, Ashton Davis, Isaiah Oliver, Wes Schweitzer, Likey Fotu, Chuck Clark, Kenny Yeboah. Then we get into some like lower level names like Jalen Holmes and stuff like that. Michael Carter II, is on this list. Jamin Sherwood, that's another one. Brandon Eccles. Going down the list, we got a couple of restricted free agents here at the bottom. Guys like Tony Adams, who they have under team control. So that's a unique one. They'll get him for dirt cheap. That's under $1 million. Very nice coming up there. But just a couple of names. So a lot of names to pay attention to. All right. It's almost as if NY Jets FL put out like the bat signal for Bobby. And as soon as he said his name, like he appeared. Like, he ran into a phone booth and changed into gear. So let's bring him in. Bobby Midnight here on the program. What's up, Bobby?
Yeah, I had a rough night last night. We stayed till like 1 o'clock in the morning. I went on.
Good Lord.
Live. Yeah,
wow.
we went on live. I had Johnny.
Sure.
ISU.
Okay.
And a few other ones on last night. Because we stopped at the midnight show. So I'm keeping my streak alive.
Oh, perfect. Okay, I just found that. Let me see. Let me throw this up so we could give you some love here. Let me do this real quick. 1 second. Here we go. Bobby, this is your channel right here on the screen, right? Right here, Talking Sports with Bob in Vermont.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
look at this.
Well,
So you guys
yeah,
can look this channel up and subscribe. Look at all this. Look at you. Look at some of these shows. A 3-hour show. Oh, wow.
Yesterday
Bobby
was,
Midnight After Hours. Nice.
that
Wow.
was yesterday.
Got to hit subscribe here. Boop. I'm subscribed. Nice.
That
Perfect.
was yesterday's. Yeah, you got to
Okay.
come on too.
I do. Yeah, that's what NY Jets FL was just saying. So we'll do, Bobby. We'll do.
Yeah,
I am now subscribed.
He comes on my show.
Okay.
I
Great.
had
We'll
Kim
do.
Boski on.
Mm-hmm.
I had Ralph from Glen Head.
Wow. You're having everybody on.
Too, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I just talk. It's just open chat. So
that's very nice. I heard you're a headmaster, is what NY Jets FL called you, like in Hogwarts. You're a headmaster, apparently. Yeah.
Well, people step over you and gotta tell you. Last night I told them you got 2 more minutes because I'm getting tired. I gave them a 2-minute warning.
Yeah, 2-minute warning. I'm aware of that in sports and in life. So yeah, I can respect that. Sure.
I was getting tired, and they keep on talking and talking, but I love it. I don't like typing. So.
Sure.
But I always have fun when everybody comes in. I even had Alan on yesterday.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad you guys were able to.
Gary too. Alan and Gary.
Oh, nice. Oh, wow. You're having the full crew, Bobby. You're a bustling star, pal.
Yeah, I try to be. I got up to my numbers went sky high. I'm up to 265 already.
Very nice. Well, it's 266 now, I think, because I just subscribed. So hey, let's keep the numbers rolling, baby.
Yep. Okay, you'll be on tomorrow, right?
Yeah. Yep. Every gosh darn day, Bobby.
Yeah, I'm going to bed early tonight. I'm not staying until those hours of night tonight. Yeah, Sunday I usually get to bed early.
Okay, that's for the best, Bobby. You get your beauty sleep, all right?
Yeah, I need a lot of it. I'm kind of ugly looking.
No, Bobby, you're fine. You're just dandy.
Did I miss your dad this morning?
He's on Saturdays.
Oh, he does. I thought he comes on Sunday too.
Sometime. Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. In terms of calls, no, he has not called in yet. So we'll see. If he does call in, he has not called in yet. No.
Okay, I'll talk to you soon. You be good.
All right. Thanks, Bobby. All right, let's go back. We got the legend himself. Let's go straight to Southern Jet. Rich joining us here on the show. What's up, baby?
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent, pal. How are you?
All right. Hey, tell Bobby if he's listening, if he needs any help or anything, give me a shout.
Nice guy.
I'll gladly help him.
That's great. Nice of you.
Yeah. I came in the middle. I just woke up.
No, that's all right.
I came in the middle, and then I went back and read Samini's piece.
Yeah.
I think it's what do they call it? A false flag. Because it just makes football. It just doesn't make any sense. The slot position, even though the average fan hasn't realized it yet, inside every building in the NFL, it's now become on par to cornerbacks.
Yes.
Because of the shift in football, the way and the Jets, as we see, the Jets are shifting to the same type of ball, the short ball, the short dump offs, the safety valves, and that's where the slot cornerback the slot cornerbacks get more balls thrown at them generally because of the importance of the slot and the tight end these days in football than any of the other cornerbacks. And so I just can't envision them letting him walk when he's a top, let's say top 5 at worst. I think he's better.
Definitely. I think it's a very safe floor to give him. He is minimum top 5. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I think this is a false flag. I think the Jets are just talking. I think in actuality, if you look back to Stiggers, who was the player of the year on defense, every team in the NFL knew about him. Every team in the NFL wanted to get him, but they thought they were going to get him in the 6th or 7th, while the Jets went up to the 5th.
That's right.
And the 5th was everybody thought they were sharp and they could get him in the 6th, but the Jets said, we're going to bite the bullet and go to the 5th and get this guy. And he's just proving everybody right that if you succeed at a pretty darn good level, to the extent he did to be player of the year, that he's going to at least be serviceable and helpful to this defense in year one at a minimum. So I think that's what they're waiting for. They're waiting for proof of Stiggers, and then I think Reed will be the guy that they probably let walk eventually. If they, you can't keep everybody, and that's the
Right.
sad thing about it. I always tell people the curse of being good in the NFL is losing your players. Guys who are average guys become stars because of damn media, and you're on national TV all the time, and they get hyped up, and you can't blame them for wanting to get the payday. These guys have such small careers, you can't
Sure.
blame them. And leading into the saying why the Jets, are also joining this. Aaron always threw on the outside all the time, and they're now saying he's going to compact it in, and there's going to be more middle of the slot, more middle of the field, which is good, and more power running, compacting the defense. I think we said the other day the formations have become more compact in OTAs. So this all makes sense. And it also makes sense. What do we have now, Paul? I mean, I know you know. What do we
Yeah.
have now, Paul? We have depth.
Yes.
This is, we're a better team this year than we were last year.
Of course.
We would not have gone to the Super Bowl last year, even with a healthy Rodgers. We didn't have the depth all across the board. That was the one great thing we got this year was depth. And guys who showed they could play, and now they're second string, even though they were first string, whatever. But the depth is important. So if we're moving to a short safety valve, slot type play, dump off, why not bolster that depth with almost at this point in time, a close to a veteran minimum contract for Hunter Renfrow?
I agree so much, and man, if people don't, and in the same kind of way, it's kind of funny you mentioned Hunter Renfrow is the kind of like opposite because MC2 plays slot corner defense to get the slot receiver. Like people don't give Renfrow any credit whatsoever, but he had that great Pro Bowl season in 2021 where he had 100 plus catches, 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns, and read a piece from the Athletic. It was Ted Nguyen. He talked about how Hunter Renfrow in his notebook was creating new routes up out of thin air. That's how much of a route technician he is, and add that to the team. And to your point, we're here in June. That's 100% vet minimum. What do you have to lose? It's the Tariq Cohen signing to me in a different way because he doesn't have that troubling injury history. Is you bring him in, if he stinks or your team's too good with depth that he doesn't make the team, okay, that's a first world problem. And guess what? If he's halfway decent, he makes the roster and you got some more insurance, especially for a guy like Malachi Corley. He's been quoted by Robert Saleh to say as a raw route runner. Hunter Renfrow is the complete opposite. He can provide a nice little binky until Malachi gets ready, and you can kind of have a nice complement there, more depth.
I 100% agree because he's not super fast, but he's proven in his career he's got experts say he has one of the quickest off the ball moves, and that's why he was always open. And he's got glue hands, and that fits Rodgers to a T. Rodgers doesn't care if he's a speedster; he just wants a guy open. Look at Jordy. All these guys he played with were guys who could get that first step and open, and so. This guy fits us to a T, a veteran who won't panic and, like you just said, improvises on the field. And, these guys get the ball, no more than a 5-yard pass generally. So it's important. Speed's not important for a slot. It's that first move off the line to get open because you're only running a 5-yard route and then you're hoping for 4 to 5 yards of yak, So I, like you said, I think I don't understand with them building depth everywhere. Why not build it this unbelievably critical situation? And it's a safety valve position too, to boot. You got a veteran to help Corley along. And if Corley maybe has some things, you got a veteran who's only on the bench because Josh McDaniels is a jerk and put him in the doghouse. It's serious,
He is, right.
He
what other reason? Yeah, right. For the dip and depth chart makes no sense.
He brought Jacoby in because he was familiar with them in Oakland and the Raiders. And, but Renfrow did nothing wrong. It's just that McDaniels is McDaniels. He's a jerk. He screws everything up. And so, I think again, I'm kind of confused that they haven't solidified depth at what I consider a new shift in formation. And this to this particular part of the field, the middle of the field, the quick dump off pass. Again, I think Conklin's going to have a huge year because of this. And any fantasy people out there, grab him. He's going to be a top 8 fantasy producer. So that's all I got to say. And thanks for the show.
Yeah, of course, Rich. Thanks for calling in. And I would say also the new practice squad rules is another factor. If no one's going to pick up Hunter Renfrow right now, there's no practice squad that exists here in June, but you bring him on the 90-man roster, and if he doesn't make the final cut, you keep him on the practice squad. Again, it's another safety stowaway, and you can improvise and add him, elevate him to the roster at any point in which you choose. So yeah, 100%. I think we got to see a little bit more of that. He mentioned it earlier, like, everyone is thinking, "Oh, we're going to get stickers in the 6th or 7th round." It's kind of like when I think of holiday travel, like Memorial Day. "Oh, we're going to beat the traffic by doing this move." But if everyone thinks of that move, you have the one guy who zags when you guys are zigging. And that's what happened there. That's for damn sure. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. We got a Johnny Boy joining us here on the show. What's up, Johnny?
What up, BG? How you holding up, man?
Excellent, Batman. I appreciate you.
Oh, you know it, bro. I love Batman, dog. I see over there, man. Sun's out. Guns.
Yeah, that's right. I get some action in here. I've got the one thing I do have to fix is the lighting. Like, I look like I'm a ghost right now, but I am of Puerto Rican heritage, for God's sake. But I have like a white spotlight on me, so I appear Blanky McBlankerson over here. So I do need to fix the lighting in this room. That is for certain. I am burning alive under this thing.
Hell yeah, bro. I feel you. Hey, favorite Puerto Rican dish?
Yeah. Papas fritas. My mother makes that every time I come home. Oof. It gets the engine revving, baby.
Hey, so I really, really like Southern Jets takes a lot. Like he's one of the callers that I'm always like really listening to, and I'm glued to when he talks.
He's a legend. I love him. He, how I heard of Southern Jet was back. Rich Cimini has done a podcast for a long time, and he was always like kind of a caller / like question submitter for his mailbags. And I just he had all these insightful questions. I'm like, holy friggin' crap! So that's kind of how I heard of him. And then with all Jets YouTube kind of exploding over the last couple of years, he's been a regular caller. I see him on Jake's show all the time. So I love it when he graces us with his presence and intellect. Like, he just has he really thinks about a lot of the questions and comments and things. You got to take what he says differently than sometimes other callers, just because of the knowledge that's there. So yeah, he's great.
Agreed, man. So the Hunter Renfrow, I think, he's right. But I'm gonna have to kick back on that a little bit because I don't think we need any player, because I think we have the players that are gonna be really good for us already on the squad. Like, for example, this whole Lazard thing, right? I'm just going to Lazard's name there real fast. Yeah. I think we have the replacement already for Lazard, and I think we have him on Irv Charles. Irv Charles measurables are the same as Lazard, right? Lazard, the biggest thing that we talk about with him is he's a blocking wide receiver. That's right. I mean,
right.
And that's what Irv Charles is known for. We still don't know what Brownlee can be.
Of course. Right.
Last year, right, he was trending up, but then 4 plays into the season, unfortunately, you saw what happened with Aaron.
Yeah.
Coming now, you have your Brownlee, you have your Gibson, you got your Irv Charles, you got other guys. Your Malik Taylor's still there.
That's right. He's another guy who's got some chemistry with Rodgers. He's the one people forget. He was on. I was at the Hall of Fame game last year, and the Zach Wilson crazy ass throw deep, that was to Malik Taylor. Malik Taylor also was the equivalent of a game winner in the Giants game, which was the Jets-Giants crazy ass game. He was the guy who drew the penalty. So Malik Taylor's a sneaky guy that people don't talk about ever at wide receiver. That's kind of
Yeah, another good route runner as well. Now, I like Hunter Renfrow, so I'm not here saying that don't, and I get it, but I feel like we already have all the players on the team that have gelled and have already learned this system that we got going on here, and it's just another year. I think last year the reason we brought in your Randall Cobb, your Billy Turn style, your all this stuff was to be teachers on the field to teach all the younger cats on what to be able to go ahead and do. You know what I mean? So like,
Mm-hmm.
I think we're getting a pissed off Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if you saw him last night at the UFC, bro.
I did.
Look so
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's crazy, man. Like he really does. He looks fucking younger. He looks
Mhm.
young. He looks young. He looks like he's ready. And then the whole conversation that you've been brought up this morning with who do we pick? Right.
Yeah.
So like, who's gonna be the player to be franchise tagged? Out of our core, it's gonna be
Okay, so
one.
I've got the franchise tag numbers in front of me. Okay, the projected numbers for 2025. So let me see. Let's okay, and I have the Jets free agents. Okay, let's go piece by piece here. We can actually do this live here on the show. Okay, let me go. All right, let's start off. I'll go all the way to the top. So we have Hassan Reddick. So he's our edge. What is edge price? 20. So, okay. So here's Hassan Reddick, for instance. He's the highest. So, Spot Track has all our free agents for 2025 listed, and it's ranked in the order in terms of what they're set to make this year. So, biggest money. So, like Michael Carter II is very low on this list because he's not making a lot of money this year. So, we'll go in order. So, like Hassan Reddick, he's on this list. According to the projected numbers, a Hassan Reddick would cost $24.2 million on the franchise tag. Oof. That's a lot of scratch. Who's like DJ Reed, corner is 19.4 million. That's a lot of scratch. Mike Williams, we went there 24.7 million. That's even more than the pass rushers for Mike Williams. That's a tough number. A sneaky one is tight end, although that's even more rich than I thought. I thought it would be a lower number, 14 million flat. So even Conklin, that'd be too rich. Let me see, offensive tackle. So Tyron or Morgan, that's 24.7 million. Jeez, Lou, good night. I don't know, man. Trying to see if there's any. Oh my God, what's the safety number? No. Oh Jesus, that's 18.7 million. Nope, that's not happening. Man, I don't know. Unless the only, as I'm just taking a peek and kind of scrolling through the list, and like I said, MC2, the problem is they don't designate separately for slots, so it won't be him. So I guess the only person realistically that you would probably do is Hassan if he has this crazy ass 20 sack season or something like that. You're like, whoa, we need to lock this guy in. Maybe then you do it. But besides that, like even if Mike Williams blows up, and here's the other thing. You mentioned Lazard earlier. Also, Ritzamini's column, he said, keep an eye on Lazard. He said they probably won't cut him, is how he starts it off in one of his nuggets. But he said he'll be a storyline to watch at cut day. So he like hinted that it's possible that Lazard's ass could still get cut, which is like, whoa, okay. Maybe we could have something there to watch ultimately, which would go back to your point of the Irv Charles and some of these other cats that they end up choosing to keep. But in terms of your franchise tag question, I think it's Reddick, but only if he goes friggin' bonkers. If not, I think they'll just eat the comp pick they get for the future.
So we could say, right, we could go ahead and throw that out of the window. Like,
what's that?
The franchise tag. Like it's
not probably. Yeah, it seems very unrealistic for any position that they have a free agent next year. Yeah.
Because that's been the conversation about, we get to franchise one of our core four guys, right? Which is
none of those we will have to until what is it? So 2024, 2025. That'd be 2026 is the first time any of the core four would be available, and that's Brees. So we don't have to have that decision for 2 years.
Gotcha. Exactly. So next year the cap supposedly is going to go up, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep, it does every year, but yeah, this year went up pretty good. Mm-hmm.
So, like, with that being said, I mean, I think MC2 needs to be the one that gets the bag right now. Like, he deserves it. Because I feel like this year, the dude's going to go off. That position that he is a position that low-key, a lot of people do not appreciate, but he does so much of the dirty work that's there, that's keeping, like, we've been so used to that position being somewhat okay for us, right? Because before him, who did we have? I think it was the cat that ended up going. He came from Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yes. Brian Poole.
Yes, Brian Poole and all that. And then prior to that,
he was good. Yeah,
we have Buster Screen.
Oh, there you go.
Right.
He's unfortunately on the run from the police right now, but yeah, he was he was a penalty machine a little bit, but yeah, Buster Screen was the one before Brian Poole. That's right. Yep.
So lock up MC2. Unfortunately, right? I think. Look, I love DJ Reed, man. I think DJ Reed is one of those players that are in the locker room that's, the locker room leaders that are there, but he doesn't talk like brash or anything with the news, the media, et cetera, et cetera. Right. But I think he's replaceable, to be honest with you. If anything, right, the Denver, the Philly game showed you that it's more of our scheme than anything. Now, I think that Sauce is a amazing cornerback and an amazing talent that we need to lock him. He's going to get locked up. He's a Jet for life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, then you have the other positions, right? Which is, so does Mike Williams come back? I don't think he does.
I don't think so either. He feels like a hired mercenary with how he came in and everything. It just feels like we're making a chase. You come over here, reinstill your value after the craziness that happened in LA with your injuries, everything. They cut bait, and then he gets a bag from someone else. That's what it feels like.
Agreed. Hassan Reddick, same thing. I think unless he takes a crazy pay cut and he's like, you know what, I love what you guys are doing over here and all that, I'm gonna want to stay. The Aaron Rodgers effect. That's
correct. Sure, maybe.
Rodgers effect. What if Aaron Rodgers says, you know what, I'm gonna play 2 to 3 more years because I love what's being done over here. JJ, right? Is JJ gonna be one of those players that we will keep?
Jermaine Johnson you're talking about?
Jermaine Johnson.
So he's let's see, what does he got? So he's 2 years in, so he's still got 2 years of rookie control, so it's 2024, 2025, and then 2026 if they decline his 5th-year option, which we don't have those projections that far out of how much he would make on that. But yeah, he's an interesting one because he's an older player. Remember, he has a very winding path in college football of jumping all over the place before ultimately ending up at Florida State to here. So he's the oldest of the core 4. He's like 25 right now. So yeah, that one's an interesting one because it makes it very interesting if he has to blow up this year. So he had like 2.5 in his rookie year, and you're like, whoa, he had that crazy Josh Allen sack. We're like, oh, maybe. Then he had the 6.5 jump. You're like, holy crap, he had the pick 6 and all this crazy athleticism. If he jumps to the next level incrementally here and has like a double-digit threatening sack season, you're like, holy. Again, first world problem. You're like, Jesus, okay, now we got some business decision to make. But if he just hovers again at 5, 6, 7, like he's just kind of floating in that range of solid Calvin Pace-ish kind of guy that will give you some splash every once in a while, but he's just a rock solid guy. Then it makes it difficult in a different way when if he blows up. That's where it gets really crazy. You're like, oh shit, what's now?
It goes right back to what Southern Jet was saying and what we've been saying. Dude, this is the first time in a long time that we've had so many death pieces that as we're going to let go a lot of these dudes, and we're going to be like, fuck, man. There's going to be a lot of Jet fans that are going to be upset. They're going to be pissed off. Yeah. Like, why do we let this guy go? Why do we let that go? Blah, blah, blah.
Well, hopefully the ultimate antidote is winning the friggin' Super Bowl. I'm going to feel a lot better if the Jets win the whole friggin' thing this year, and there's all these guys that are leaving. Again, I want to – because – to me, and I feel like I speak for all Jet fans here, we want to win the championship, but that's going to be this glorious, unbelievable friggin' moment. But after, which that high will last the rest of my life. But the immediate after is like, okay, now let's go win another one. Because, we're going to have this constant search of getting the next thing. But that, to me, would be the ultimate antidote for some of these losses that I feel a little bit better at night. It's going to be a lot harder if you make this incredibly deep run and you almost coulda, woulda, shoulda. It's 2009 again. It's 2010 again. You go really close, and then the team starts falling apart because of money. You're like, oh, that was our chance right there while all these guys are on the rookie deals and all this stuff. That's why it's just so important right now.
So with you saying that, let me ask you this. What do we do with AV?
I'm going to be honest. At first, when I was putting it in my head, I'm like, it's obvious you have to accept this fifth-year option like earlier this offseason. And then as I've had the pleasure of talking with a lot of guys that cover the team for a living that's in that building, and they just kept saying, like, I'm not sure if it's a slam dunk. I'm not sure if it's a slam dunk. I'm like, wow. Because, like, I was here, and for them to be here, I'm like, whoa, there is a gap here that one of us is not seeing. And the more, and Joe Douglas kind of playing coy at all these press conferences, I'm like, wow, that's so weird. He's never played coy before with these fifth-year options. It's been clear yes or clear no. So the fact that he's been going, we'll see. We haven't talked yet. I'm like, that's bullshit. You guys have clearly talked. I'm like, what's going on? And then they accept it. That one's tough. Now it's injury insurance covered for 2025. So his $15.3 million is in the friggin' bank. So boy, you just want, it gets really complicated if he's injured again, because the Jets are effed. If he gets injured again this year and he has another season in a year, again, his money is covered for 2025. So that's the bet that the Jets made. To like, we have a lot, again, as we've walked through, Hassan Reddick, Tyron Smith, Morgan Moses, Mike Williams, DJ Reed, Michael Carter. We have enough decisions to make. And the Jets said, we don't want to add another one in by declining the fifth-year option on AVT, because then he would be on that list of guys that would be a free agent after the season potentially. So they said, F this. Let's just, we believe he's really good, and we got to like will into existence that he's going to stay healthy. And by accepting the fifth-year option, that's what they're saying. They're telling themselves he's going to be healthy this year. He's going to be healthy. It's going to work out. If they didn't believe that, that would be declining the option. They're like, boy, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to stay healthy. Let's bet on it and see what happens. So they're betting that he's staying healthy, obviously, with that decision. You just better hope your sweet cheeks he's healthy this year, because if he's not, boy, 2025 looks rough. It looks real rough.
And that's crazy. That's crazy, because these are conversations that are not really being talked about.
Right.
Because, like, AVT, what is he right now and all that? Look, I want AVT to be back. I love.
Of course.
He is a player that has done everything that we've ever asked him to do, to the point that he's been injured. Those injuries that he has are fucking.
That poor bastard. That poor bastard, man.
Being put in these positions that he's like, now, okay, Tyron Smith. Done, right? He's gone after this year. Because
it seems hard unless this year, like, let's say Tyron stays healthy the whole year and he looks awesome. And then the only way he could get on the field is if Morgan has some slip ups, because obviously he was coming off the torn pec last year, and he was rotating with a different right tackle for Baltimore. So let's say somehow those problems persisted and he rotated with Fashanu. That's really the only way. And I love Tyron, but that's really the only way I can see it, because if not, even if Tyron rocks this world and Fashanu doesn't see the field at all, I can't see the Jets saying, Olu, another year on the bench. Like, there's just an inherent pressure when you draft these guys to get them on the field. And he's cool with it this year of learning from Tyron Smith, his legend. I wonder if that starts to wane a year from now. We re-sign Tyron Smith to another one-year deal, and Fashanu, it's like, so still not seeing the field. Again, that's some of the awkward social politics in the locker room they'll have to figure out. So, yeah, outside of Fashanu playing a little right tackle this year, it seems hard to believe. Tyron, we were talking about, to your point, the free agents that are playing this year that seem destined to leave, that one seems like another one for sure.
See, so the Morgan Moses, I think we extend him.
Mm-hmm.
Be honest with you. I mean, JD's been on record saying that one of his biggest regrets is not giving Morgan Moses the money to go ahead and stay with the Jets and all that, because that would have been a position that we would have never had to worry about, and we could have worried about everything else and put money towards that. So I think he's going to right that wrong with Morgan Moses, and that dude stays. So the reason I'm saying all this is I think that our offensive line is going to be set for a while, right?
Gotta hope so.
It's going to be our defense is the positions that we're going to be like, fuck. We're going to lose players that we're all going to be like, fuck. Because, I mean, Ashton, he got the 1-year deal, right?
So there's Chuck Clark. He is the 1-year deal. Tony Adams is a restricted free agent after this year. So again, that's the benefit of when you hit on a UDFA, you control that bastard forever. As we saw with Bryce Huff, you get the 3 years of control, the restricted free agents. You like control him for all these years. So like, no matter what Tony Adams does, he's awesome. Or even if he would have to completely fall off a cliff for them to decline his RFA control that they have over him. So he's another one that they'll retain. But the other ones, Ashton, Chuck, and then unless JBC, although I saw you had a good practice the other day. But yeah, those are two where the safety room blows up after this year too.
Now, the craziest thing about this is that we got into the conversation about wide receivers, right?
Mhm.
Where I think we're all pretty much on board. So I have I have the Jets going 14-3. I think we win,
Nice.
right? I only think we lose to the Niners, Texans, and at Buffalo. That's the other
Okay.
shit that real quick nugget. It's a lot of
Mhm.
people hitting on Buffalo. If you look at Buffalo's actual team itself, they're still good. Just if you chat, guys, go look at it, and you guys will see what I'm saying. Same thing with the Patriots. That fucking defense over there, it's still good. But
Mhm.
after this or whatever, the free agency for wide receivers after this year, it's fucking crazy. The
Yeah,
play
someone just had that. Let me see if I could find that. Yeah, someone just had the list of names that were out there, and that is a wild list. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I saw I had like C.D. Lamb, T. Higgins.
Yeah, it's crazy. Do I think these players are ever gonna hit the fucking free agency? Hell nah.
Yeah, right. Franchise tag central.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't see it. So whoever that was, if you can repost your comment, whoever you were that did that, I'm trying to see. We have plenty of comments in here, which again, we're dealing with Jet first world problems. I'm dealing with Jet's YouTuber problems. There's some people that don't get any comments, so I really appreciate them all. But yeah, I cannot see this for the life of me. So if anyone has that reposted, whoever all those crazy ass wide receivers that are there,
Hey, yo,
scroll
BG,
back.
if you got anybody else on there, like I'm over here talking like crazy, my bad. You know, you let me know. Tell me.
No. The only other person is I see that Southern Rich is hanging out.
Okay.
So yeah, Southern Rich is in there. He's like kind of like Doctor Evil, like kind of leaning back in his chair doing one of these. I can see, and he's like giving some interesting private chat comments to you. So like I see him. I'm not sure if he wants to come back on, but he's been giving me some juicy tidbits as you've been going through your gambit here of interesting like little statistics. He's the one who said it. Oh yeah, private chat. I'm an idiot. Yeah, that's where the comment was. No wonder I couldn't find it. Yeah, that was Southern Rich. So sorry about that, pal. That's what he was trying to tell me. Yeah, so here they are. It's C.D. Lamb, T. Higgins, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Chris Godwin. He had Lamb again in here. Justin Jefferson, Brandon Ayuk. That's the list. Holy friggin' crap. Wow. Yeah. Oh God. Oh, that's juicy. So it's kind of interesting. Yeah, how many of those guys actually hit the market will be interesting. But for the Jets, if Lazard gets cut this year or next year, whichever, whatever, so he's gone. Mike Williams is probably gone based on all our conversations. It seems like it. So that means the Jets will be looking for a Robin to Garrett Wilson's Batman. There looks like there's plenty of Robins. There's a few Batmans in here. Adam West, as I'm kind of peeking through this list here. There's a tasty.
That's what I mean, bro. Like that's what I'm saying. Like again, JD has put us in a position, right, that we have not overextended ourselves. But for the future, if let's just say that he was to fucking be cut or they cut ties with fucking JD and say, you know what, JD, we don't
Mhm.
want to send you, blah, 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 right? He has not put us in a position to where we've been in salary cap hell like we have with the prior GMs and all
Right.
that.
Yeah. Let me see. Buffalo was. I'll give a shout out to Buffalo. We haven't done a show in a long time together, so I have to put him on my short list. But he tweeted this out yesterday, so I should be able to find this tweet pretty quick. He had all the here it is. Here's a number. Let's throw this up on the screen. Shout out to the Buffalo Jet fan. He's got his own YouTube channel, so you guys can make sure you guys check it out. I was trying to find this Breaking Bad money video, and I couldn't to react to his tweet, but it's this. Here's the AFC salary cap space for 2025. Patriots are going to have like a cajillion dollars. It's 97 million. The Jets are number 2 at 58 million, and it's Bills negative 2 million, Dolphins negative 16 million as it currently projects. So the Jets are about to have a bag of money for next year, and so are the Patriots for that matter. And then the rest of the division will be dealing with more garbaggio. So yeah, delectable.
If we were to cut Lazard, right, because this is the year that he gets the most money, that's the most guaranteed, right?
Correct. Yeah,
If
yeah. The
we were to
dead cap
cut
hit
him,
for next year is like 6 million and change.
it would go up even more for us.
Sure.
So,
Right. Yes. Yeah.
and I did want to bring up this point real quick.
Yeah.
I
Go ahead.
believe it was Jets Florida, right? My guy T Money, I see you, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he was the one that kept talking about the CD Lamb conversation.
He
Right?
was. Yeah.
I was talking about that with a couple of my boys, right? And I was like, bro, imagine CD Lamb with fucking Garrett Wilson. If we were to make that trade happen, what would it take? Because, I feel like what's the number one position that all teams must have? And if Dallas wants to keep doing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
They can't pay him and they can't pay Dak again.
And Micah still has to get paid.
Exactly. So who's the one that you're gonna be like is the
I
man?
hope so. Please be Lamb. Please, Dallas, be dumb and make Lamb expendable. I will give them an offer they can't refuse for CD Lamb.
That's what I mean, bro. So like again, these are all the fucking conversations that this maniac of our fucking GM JD is talking about and conversating, bro. And we're just talked about it for what, like maybe like 20 minutes now, 25 minutes or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because this shit is and I mean, bro, I'm not no fucking GM. I'm not here to have the fucking numbers or have the analytics of regards of any of the things that occur and whatnot. But at the same time, I know a little bit and I know enough that I could be like, yo, we get these people over here, we're set. Again, JD has put us in a position. So all these people, what I'm trying to say is, all these individuals that have said, JD's a fucking idiot. He sucks. He's all this. I get it. His record has sucked, but little by little, he's put us. I don't count that first year that he was here with us because he had to deal with all the shit from the prior regime that went ahead and put us in fucking crap. And at some
Didn't
point,
get a 7-9 season out of it. That was Adam Gase in 2019. Yeah.
So I'm excited, brother. I feel like I'm glad I was able to kind of conversate and talk to you because
I appreciate it.
You're super knowledgeable when it comes to that and give. I try to give more rational takes than anything. Some people might think that I'm fucking nuts, which I am. So, you know what I mean? But I truly think we're 14-3, man. You break down that schedule and look at it. There's a couple question marks, which go Pittsburgh Steelers. That's a question mark game, man, because that could be one. Seattle Seahawks, us coming after the bye.
Correct, week 12.
We're known for being shitty after the bye.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we could possibly lose 5 games, but I think we got a better team than Pittsburgh. I think we got a better team than Seattle, right? And then everybody says, if we're healthy, that's every fucking team.
Of course it is.
It's like such a bad take when you just say, oh, because of the health. Now I get it. We got PTSD fucking shit because of what we've dealt in the past. But everybody needs to be happy. I mean, bro, it's fucking June and we're it's content right now. And we're talking about players potentially coming to the future because we're so confident of the type of year that we're going to have right now. Right. That we're like, yo, this is in the bag. This playoff time, baby. This damn letter opener fucking symbol that we got up here and shit like that.
That's right.
It's starting to actually,
Tony Oden apparently loves that. That must be the only Jets hat that he wears. He's their cornerback coach for the Jets, and that's the only Jet hat he wears. It's a new Jet hat with that letter opener that's below right here and up there in that corner. Up there. And oh my God, he wears that every day. And I'm just like, man, look at him just pounding the table saying, hey, whoa, you guys got to get some of this. I almost want to get it for the joke. So that might be something I'm going to have to add to the list. Yeah.
So I already ordered it, right? Because I did.
That's awesome.
Our strength coach, right? When he was rocking the old black one, I was like, because it had the Jets shit on the side.
It does, yeah, right. So I think it does have because it might not be very clear what the hell that is. So they do have some signage on the side. So you're like, oh, okay, I get it.
But that's the hat that if we shit the bed so fucking bad this year, it's the hat that you wear when you're out and about, right? And people fucking that are true Jet fans know what the hell that thing is.
It'll be a silent head nod of what's up?
That's it, bro. You just keep going. Hey, BG, man, suns are out, baby. Guns are out.
That's it, baby.
Appreciate you, man. Keep doing your thing. This has been awesome. But I just wanted to throw all these nuggets in there, man, because it's the truth, man. There's all these conversations that need to be talked about, and we're in a good position for what we're gonna do. Yo, extend MC2, please.
Yes.
Let that guy be our dude. You know what I mean? And then the other players, because I don't know, man. And the other one is Quincy. What do we do with Quincy?
Yeah, sure. What is he? What this is second year, I believe, this year. So he's under contract next year. Then he's a free agent the year after. And it's so funny conversations. I heard so many people say, "Ugh, 3 years, 18 million for Quincy, ridiculous. How expensive?" And my boy, and I love this guy. So I want to say that I covered him here at Syracuse, but his name's Zaire Franklin. You people may go, "Who the hell is that?" Like that is the pick the Jets traded. They had a 7th-round pick, 235th overall, and they traded it to the Indianapolis Colts, and the Colts took that player. The Jets got Henry Anderson in that trade, and Zaire Franklin. I was doing an interview here in Syracuse. They said, "Who's a player coming out of Syracuse this year, whatever year it was, like that you'd bet your career on is going to make it in the NFL?" I said, Zaire Franklin is a 7th-round pick no one's ever heard of. He's a shorter linebacker. He just signed a 3-year deal this offseason for $30-something million. Think about that. Random Zaire Franklin, who again I love. He's been really solid and has developed for the Colts, but he signed a 3-year deal for $30-something million. Quincy Williams, first team All Pro linebacker, signed a 3-year deal for $18 million. So yes, he's going to be another guy that would be in 2 years is going to get the friggin' bag to a crazy level after all he's developed. That's one that Joe Douglas never gets a tip of the cap for first off finding him off the scrap heap, saying, "Oh look, Quinton Williams' brother, cool, that'll be a fun story in training camp." But that's a guy that he grabbed, developed, and then signed before anyone thought he was anything. And now look at him. So yeah, that's one in a couple of years.
Yeah, dude. I mean, exactly. Like, and I hope we do, because I mean, I think he's the one that is going to be the CJ Mosley player that really takes
taking the torch.
Mm-hmm. He's the one, because man, if you see him on he's so fucking close to CJ. When on the OTAs, you see Quincy always close to CJ, man.
100%.
There, stuff like that. Just the way he carries himself. So I don't know, man. It's an interesting conversations to have. I feel like again, we're in a great position. I mean, the defense that we have is awesome as well. The way we rotate players is great. So to see William McDonald, what he's gonna be with JJ, Hassan Reddick this year. I mean, bro, with the fucking lead that we'll have this year, the blitzing is going to go up. We're going to see stuff that we have not seen in a long time, because we had that fucking child on center and everything, missing wide open people that are fucking, he can't even get him the ball for some reason. But anyway, that's another conversation that we don't need to have. But yeah, man, it's an exciting time, bro. Like, I just cannot wait. I think the defense this year is going to unlock another level that we haven't seen, and people are going to be like, "Holy shit!" Right? It's just
Can't wait.
Like Legion of Boom conversation. You know what I mean? Still current. I mean, these are the type of conversations. Now, don't get me fucking started with the 86 Bears, was it? Or
yeah, it was 85 Bears. It was that's so right. DJ Reed never talks, but like he got caught saying something. I can't remember if it was from the reporter's question or he brought it up. They were like, "How good can this defense be?" He's like, 85 Bears, this or that, and everyone lost their shit last year over that. And then, by the way, the defense was really good last year. They had moments. Certainly, the Dolphins sliced them up. DJ Reed in particular in that second Dolphins game, he ripped them up on a couple of Jalen Waddle bombs that are in his highlight reel package. But yeah. So the defense was good last year, really good, but you know, he caught a lot of heat for that. So I imagine he's not going to be making any of those comments this year. I would imagine.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good, DJ Reed, because I'm here saying 85 Bears, baby. Let's go.
I love it. Yeah, there you go, Johnny.
Jets. Batman.
Thanks for the call.
Batman. I got some coffee in my system, brother. If you can't tell.
Right. Yeah, I can. And you've taken the crown from BMAC. Someone just said that for the longest call ever. But I respect it, Johnny. There's a lot of info there.
But I'm spitting real Jet stuff over here. You know what I mean? I'm not over here. Right. Like, look, I love BMAC. That's my guy.
Yeah.
He's dude. When he fucking calls in, I'm watching TV. Like, yo, what's on the channel, man?
Hey, you're getting multiple things accomplished there. That's for sure. You're watching a little TV, getting some entertainment. Yeah, B-Mac's a good guy, man.
He's a good dude. I did love his Green Bay takes. I tell you that much.
Yeah, solid Green Bay take. Very nice.
Lazard and all that, but
yeah, we'll see him in the Super Bowl. We'll see. Thanks, Johnny.
Could be Philly, brother. Philly and
Can't wait. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. All right, let's go to our next caller. Wow, Johnny, that was good. All right, let's go to our favorite Florida Panthers fan, Alan, here on the show. What's up, Alan?
Good morning, Paul. First of all, a moment of silence. Madison Square Garden in the spring is dead.
Oh, yeah. Fun while it lasted.
Oh, it was good. Last night was glorious. To watch all these snobby, stuck-up Ranger fans knowing that they lost to a better team. Amen.
Sorry, Connor Rogers and all the other Rangers fans out there. Sorry, you bastards.
Go back on your honeymoon. Shut up. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
First of all, as far as Michael Carter II is concerned, I worry about this regime when it comes to contracts. Again, last year I had the issue that they did not re-up with Huff when they had an opportunity at a lesser price, and they decided to bring back Carl Lawson, who was, again, in my opinion, damaged goods, and they paid the price because they had to basically get rid of him. They had an opportunity to get out of the contract.
They did. He was owed $15 million, but none of it guaranteed. And then the Jets met up and said, "Hey, can you take less? But we'll guarantee the shit out of it." He's like, "Okay." And they cut it to like 7, 8, 9, 10 million, whatever it was, guaranteed. And then a couple more in incentives. And of course, he met none of the incentives, but they just effed them. That was a perfect example of the Jets just effing themselves for no reason whatsoever. Ugh, terrible.
That's what I worry about with this regime coming here with Michael Carter II. As soon as Taron Johnson signed that 3-year, $31.5 million deal with the Bills, that is the contract I would have offered him. I think the problem is this team gets a little too cocky. They think these guys want to stay here for the rest of their careers. That's why I think DJ Reed is not going to take a discount to come back. I think he's going to want his last.
Oh, yeah. I agree. 100% agree. And think about how passionately he was talking about it the first time. When he signed with the Jets in the first place, he said, "I'm one of the best corners in football," or "I'm the best corner in football," pointed at all these numbers. And now that he's had some more praise here than he's had in other places, 1,000%. He's chasing back, and I don't blame him, but he's 1,000% chasing the biggest bag he can get. And I don't think that's coming from the Jets.
I was hopeful. Again, I knew it was unrealistic, but I knew that the Lions needed another cornerback this offseason, and I know that they made the trade to get Carlton Davis. I was hoping that was going to be DJ Reed. Again, I'd rather.
What did Carlton Davis go for? What was? I remember the trade.
I believe it was a third. I think it was a third. I'm not sure.
Yeah, let me see on that.
Are you looking it up?
Yeah, I'm gonna see on that. But to be honest, that could have been a sneaky way for the Jets to maximize an asset. Let's see, third round pick. Yeah. And the Lions get a couple of 6. So, but the third, obviously more important than a couple of 6 in the future. But so a third, I imagine DJ Reed could have gotten somewhere in that ballpark.
I thought the Jets could have gotten one of the late seconds in that deal. I think DJ Reed is a better player than Carlton Davis. Again, the idea that you're going to lose a 8 to 12 cornerback in the league for nothing frustrates me. I think Michael Carter II is more important for this roster. I think they can find a number 2 cornerback. Maybe it's the Stiggers. You have no idea. But when you have an opportunity to re-up with Michael Carter II, just don't bullshit. Just get it done. It's ridiculous. Give him the Taron Johnson contract. I mean, it's so picture perfect. They're in the same level of nickel corners.
And so reasonable. It's not a crazy deal. I mean, I get it's crazy for his position. The market of it is resetting. Taron Johnson's now the highest paid nickel in football. But like in a greater scheme, you take a step back of evaluating how much everyone's getting paid. That's super reasonable.
Yeah. And finally, I'm rooting for the Mavs. I think the Celtics win in 6. Ooh, I do.
Okay, you have the same take as the man shop. That was his take. Is he believes it's Celtics in 6. Okay, interesting. All right.
It's interesting if Porzingis comes back in that series. I like the secondary pieces from the Celtics. I like Derek White's. I I like their secondary pieces very much. I know that they're young when you talk about Dallas, maybe a Gafford or a Live maybe have the size, but I love the pieces that the Celtics have, and I think I'm not going to say they're going to neutralize Luka or Kyrie, but I think they can play really well against them. I think Dallas needs to win. Dallas needs to win game 1. Okay.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
They need to win game 1. I do not want to go down 0-1 if I'm Dallas and try to win a game 2. But again, Celtics in 6, and always a pleasure, Paul. And again, a prayer to MSG. It is dead.
There you go. I appreciate that. Thanks, Alan. Apparently, we did lose a Ranger subscriber on here. They were not very pleased with that. Yeah, there it is. It's a Jaden D'Angelo who disliked that and unsubscribed for that call. So, well, I'm sorry, Jaden, for that. God bless you, sir, and sorry your season is over. Genuinely. Well, I saw the heart emojis from Tatiana somewhere here in this chat, and my beautiful daughter is right here. Come here, honey. There you go. See, you can say goodbye to the people. Got to wrap up. We got like 900 people in the room. There's 900 people up there. It's been a fun show, about an hour and a half. I know that cut into your breakfast, honey, so I apologize at the diner for that. But thank you, everyone, for tuning into the show. Like the video. Hit subscribe. Oh, we'll give him a wow, Zariah. That's your intro thing as we head out of here. Let me do this up. Here it is. Wow. Wow. There you go. Thanks, everybody. Like the video, hit subscribe, and we'll be back on tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time for Boy Green Daily. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and feel free to check out the full column down below on Michael Carter II and the Jets not starting contract extension discussions to this point. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Thanks for sharing some time.